record. I pushed the record button. Ladies, so do you object or do you agree that it's going to be recorded?
That's fine.
Thank you. Okay, welcome everyone. My name is Ingun and I'm one of the founders of Move into the Future. And I'm here tonight with my colleague Saskia Harkema, also from the Netherlands, and with our guest Wendy Mayhew. And I hope I pronounce it right, but we're really happy that you're here. And we're going to do a short interview and really pick your brain on your thoughts about the 50 plus generation in combination with starting your business. So Wendy, can you please introduce yourself shortly and share why you feel that this 50 plus generation in combination of starting your business is so important to focus on?
Firstly, thank you ever so much for having me. I appreciate you wanting to do an interview with me. So my name is Wendy Mayhew, and I am been an entrepreneur myself for about 40 years. And I recently wrote a book called Wiser, the Definitive Guide to Starting a Business After the Age of 50. And the reason I did that was because there are all kinds of stories out there about older entrepreneurs, but nobody has ever written a guide to help them. And I knew that there was a need for this, that is step by step by step. And you know how it's a process, and it's necessary because we already know that there's so many people starting a business later in life. But post-COVID, there's going to be even more. And so we need to be talking to them, we need to be helping them, we need to be guiding them, putting them on the right path of, just going from an employee to an entrepreneur to stepping out of your comfort zone. We need to be there to take them by the hand and guide them. They need the help. And there's very few organizations that are offering support to older entrepreneurs. Here in Canada, a lot of them are now starting to do that, and they're putting it, it's not necessarily a course or a program or an incubator or anything just for the 50 plus. It's including younger people in there as well, which I think is absolutely fantastic, because I don't think that there should be anything just for the 50 plus. So we've got two groups, that can really learn from each other, and possibly even down the road work together by starting a business. And even though that is a little more difficult, it certainly can be done. But so yeah, it's just supporting them and taking, we have, I always say, we have the wisdom. So we have the wisdom and initiative, skills and experience that goes a long way in starting a business. It's just one, you kind of need that little push. You also have to understand, though, if you are someone that is exploring entrepreneurship, it isn't for everyone. You need to understand that it's not something you go in and think lightly. And I always tell this story whenever I'm talking about my book, that our neighbors, they both are closing in on retirement. They don't want to stop. They want to continue working, and they have talked and talked and talked about starting a business until they read my book. And he said to me, I had no idea what was involved in starting a business. And so they'll probably end up doing it, but at least they're having the hesitation, and that's what people need to do. And if you have that hesitation, you need to think it through and decide whether it is really something that you are going to put that time into it, because it's a full-time job. It really is. And I get a little upset whenever people talk about these gig economy that you can do on the side. Well, you can't just be in the middle of something and say, okay, all of a sudden, okay, that's it. I'm not, today isn't my day for working. Being a business, it doesn't work that way. So I may not have answered everything you wanted me to answer, and I may have gone off on a rant. I've been known to go on rants.
Well, I was reading on your profile also that the 50 plus group is the hardest growing group of starting entrepreneurs.
They are.
Why do you think it is?
Oh, well, there's many, many reasons why. I always say the first one is, now that you have the time, you can do that business that you've always wanted to do. You can either, it could be a brand new idea, or you've seen something that you have a better solution to, so you can start and do it that way. Then there's the people that are, they don't have an option. They haven't saved enough money, and so they're going to need to do something to have an income. And the first group I was talking about, they're going to go at it. They probably aren't going to need as much help as anyone else. Even though a lot of people that are reading my book who have been in business and are successful are wishing that they had it whenever they first started out, because it would have made it easier. But the ones, the people that are just doing it out of necessity are going to have a harder time. It's going to struggle. I'm not saying that they can't succeed. That's for sure. They can do it. But, somebody needs to be holding their hands.
Okay. Saskia?
Yes, it's interesting what you say. I think being passionate about something is ageless. I have to think about my grandfather. He owned a bookstore. He was really an entrepreneur. He was very successful, and he worked till well into his 65th year. And he was always innovating, always thinking of new ways to grow his business till a very old age. So if you would have to profile these people, what's the profile of these 50+ entrepreneurs?
Oh, gee. How do I profile someone like this? Number one, I really liked what you said, that we're innovative, because I've heard time and time again that we would never amount to anything. We're old. We're old. We don't know what we need to know and to be successful, because we just don't have the number of years ahead of us, right? And so I think there's two profiles, actually. So there's the one that has the passion, that's going to be doing it, and they're going to be, somebody that has left their job, like couldn't wait to retire and start a business. Okay. And actually there was a third group in there. I didn't, but that one is the people that can't wait to retire. And then after a year, they can't wait to get back to work. And so they'll start their business as well. So there's really the three levels. I think somebody that is, has been working, understands that they can use the contacts that they've had for years. And every level needs to understand that. I think that they are at least high school, if not university or college, have had that level of education. And I think that one thing that really makes people successful is the communication that they have with other people. And that is one thing that older entrepreneurs will have, is because they have in their work, they've networked with people. Like that word network shouldn't be a strange word for anyone, because really when you're working with people, you're networking with them. Okay? You have a source of contacts there. I always say the first thing you do whenever you retire is take your Rolodex with you, because you'll never know when you're going to be able to need them or want to use them. Oh yeah, that person can introduce me to that person. That person can introduce me to that person, right? So it's somebody that is having the ambition, shall I say, to go and try something different. That I guess that's how. I never really. I hope, because some of this is.
Yeah, but how do they do that? Because it's what you say, they are very experienced, they have a lot of wisdom, but old habits die hard. So how do you kind of renew yourself or reinvent yourself? And because you're taking another road now, another path.
So that is the hardest thing is going to be from that, and I refer, that's why this is all in my book, because it's to help them down that path, right? So you're stepping out of something that is totally, totally different. So you have to know how to transition, make that transition from being an employee, going to groups talking to people that you don't know. How do you meet them, right? And so, gosh, you're standing in a corner at a networking event because you're afraid that this is something so new, right? So the next thing that again, follow my book, is helping you gain that confidence from going from, again, being an employee to an entrepreneur by really, how am I going to do that? How, I'm sitting here, I always say that you're almost in a cocoon and you have to, come out of that cocoon. And so it's learning and reading and practicing and, just go. I always say to everyone, entrepreneurs like to help entrepreneurs. And so you have to just, take that step, that first step. And that is the hardest. Taking the first step is the hardest. But once you do that, it gets easier. It gets a lot easier. And, even with myself, I remember a few years ago, I went to an event and I went to this event because there was this woman there I knew and she was speaking. And so I figured, okay, well, I'll at least know somebody, right? Well, she didn't have time to talk to me because she was doing a presentation. I walked into a room full of men. They were all men who knew each other. And here's this woman just standing over there. And, and maybe, I don't think it was because of my woman, and I try not to let that get in the way that I'm a female. But, that was so hard for me. So, a lesson to everyone that it doesn't, just because you're new to it now, doesn't mean it's not necessarily always you're going to run into that situation again.
No, absolutely not.
Right?
No.
Yeah.
What we see is, of course, we live in a world of change. If you look at especially people who have been in that job for many, many years and get out of the job and are looking for those new opportunities, and whether maybe first they are considering, back to the job or starting a business, we really need to look at society, at the economy from a totally different perspective.
Yes. And when you're standing there going, okay, where am I going to go? What am I going to do? Okay, I know I want to go down this path. And so many people don't realize where they can go. And again, it goes back to entrepreneurs helping entrepreneurs. But people should be reaching out. There is a small business organization in your area somewhere, and you get in touch with them. And hopefully they are going to understand that, you're just like anyone else wanting to start a business. You just happen to be a little bit older and your hair is gray, maybe. So it's just a matter of acceptance into these organizations. And, you just, as I say, first step is call a small business organization. Or if you know someone that is a friend of yours or whatever, who is a business owner already, talk to them. Get their feel of the land. And, you have to talk. You just have to continue to talk. Talk to everybody that will listen to you. My husband says that's all I ever do is talk to people. And,
Are they willing to also explore? Because I can imagine that if you're making such a transition, as you call it, you somehow have to also take an inner journey to explore talents you might not be aware of or that you have forgotten, and you tap into another fountain or source of wisdom.
For sure. I mean, it's just the beginning, right? I mean, you open up, like it's getting out of that, again, cocoon, and just, wow, okay, here's a whole new world. I'm ready to explore it.
Okay.
And and you never close any doors. You keep those doors open, because look at you two connected after how many years, right?
Yeah.
And that's the way it is. And you also, so don't close that door on the employment that you've just left, for sure, because there's probably, for instance, so you're looking for a supplier or something. Well, that supplier, or that supplier may know someone else that can help you. And it just keeps rolling. It's a ball, just always rolling. And you're making new contacts, you're, growing yourself. And it's, now I'm saying all this, but it isn't easy. It takes time. It really does take a lot of time. It takes perseverance. The one thing is, so then you get into the family side of it. Okay, so your kids are probably all gone, but your spouse or your partner doesn't want you working. So you really can't go in there and do it. And so that even makes things rough because you want to do something and they don't want you to do it. And so what do? I say, I'm bad, but I say, follow your passion.
Okay, so you say follow your passion. Yes.
Well, I think that we all need to at least try to do what we have wanted to do. And if you
Yeah.
don't try, you'll never know.
Yeah. No, that's true.
So yeah,
But
I'm a big
yeah, it's also, I think I can imagine that it's for the person in question, it's a kind of a discovery, journey of discovery. But yeah, you have to take also your spouse with you somehow. And so it's a journey you both embark on.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
maybe it'd be nice if they were sort of involved in the company, but not a whole
Yeah.
lot.
Yeah. Yeah. Hmm.
That
Yeah.
can cause problems too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Got something that is there and you aren't compatible, you're thinking differently, and so there is certainly an awful lot to consider.
Well, we use, I don't know if that's helpful. We use the metaphor of the tree of life. So we compare someone to a tree. And yeah, when you take another path, you're growing new branches, you're growing new flowers. And the tree has also roots, which you might not be aware of that they are there. And when you have a partner also, the tree, that the roots are connected somehow. So maybe the metaphor helps in
Yeah. Tree of life. Yeah, there's nothing wrong with that.
illustrate how you can grow together somehow into a new shape or a new form.
I like that.
I have to watch the time, ladies, because if I hear a lot of what we can do, what we should do, and etc. etc. If you look at moving to the future, we do, we really take people by the hands in discovering where they are and where they want to go. So we do that with training, mentoring, but also you've been talking about the incubator kind of setting, and that is our community that we're working from, and really setting teams, bringing people together. And it doesn't really have to be similar ideas, but people who do have ideas and do have a passion and do want to move forward and create their own future, that they really can work together. And if you bring people together only with different networks, then you have a complete bigger network where you can help people to really become successful. So there are a lot of initiatives to help people to move forward. I do believe that you're absolutely right, that 50+ generation is well, we need them in this economy, and especially also after COVID, when this all happens, that we really have to involve them and really have them active in this economy to create a new future. And it sounds like we can do a lot together. So is there anything you want to add?
No, I don't think so. I mean, I could go on and on, but I think that what you're doing is great, and I applaud you for that, because we need more people that are doing that. The only thing that I would really like to say, I guess, is that organizations, businesses, governments that are retiring people, shall we say, post-COVID, they should have a plan in place, and it should be, and this is one of the things that I'm attempting to do, is getting in touch with these organizations and saying, hey, buy my book, because I want you to give it to people to let them explore whether entrepreneurship is for them or not, instead of just saying, goodbye, you're out the door. And, I was talking to someone last week, and they were telling me about people that are being asked in the government to take early retirement. The person has 2 years left to fully retire, but they're asking her, and she's saying, I don't want to retire. I'm not ready to retire. What am I going to do? So, we really need to try as a group effort of getting this out there, that to all organizations. And there was one person that I connected with on LinkedIn, and she's working in diversity. And I told her about my book, and she was very interested in reading it. And so then I invited her to the virtual book tour, and she said good luck with it. So knowing that she obviously didn't want to attend it or have anything to do with it, but it's changing that whole mindset on that. And when we talk about diversity, and I know, I'm sorry you're in a hurry here, so I'll just finish with this. When we talk about diversity, well, we all know about all the demonstrations that's been going on around the world, right? And so they're talking about Black lives, and don't get me wrong, because that is really, really, really important. And what happened was just awful. But there are more people that should be included, or more groups that need to be included in that diversity. There's not only is it Black people, it's people of all color, and it's of all ages. But they don't talk about that, and we get excluded. And I'll just leave you on one final thing. Somebody said to me yesterday, do you mind me sharing your virtual book tour? Her cousin, who is 65, hates his job. He's been working with a headhunter for quite a while now, probably a couple of years or more. And that headhunter finally came back to him and said, I can't find you anything because of your age. Nobody wants to hire you. So, and that is a big problem. And that's why, there's going to be so many layoffs, and these people do need to, have opportunities available to them.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. So,
and we are going to create that.
Good.
Yes,
Yay.
we have to do it ourselves, but it is our responsibility to do it, to create it ourselves, and we have to create that future. So we are going to be part of that change. Good.
Yes.
Saskia, anything you want to add?
No, thank you. No.
Okay, well, thank you, Wendy. Thank you very much for sharing your knowledge and your experience. And we are going to share your book. You will probably you can send us a link where people can buy it. And it's Wiser, the Definite Guide to Starting a Business After the Age of 50. So we'll share this, and I think it would be nice if we can share experiences again in a couple of months and see where this all takes us.
Sounds like a plan. I think
Yeah.
that it's all collaborative.
Do it.
Get it all going, then we can certainly make that change. So
absolutely.
Thank you for having me.
Well, thank you, Wendy.
Thank you.
Bye-bye.